Hello, hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel for Microsoft Intune interview question and answer. So this is the part 6 video. Before that I covered up 5 more videos where I was covering up 10 question in the each videos. So if you have not watched the past video, please go back and watch all these video to upskill yourself or to be get ready for the interview. So now let's get started with this video. So here in this video I will be covering up the 10 questions are listed over here. What is autopilot, how to create and deploy autopilot profile, how to collect the hardware key from the device, autopilot troubleshooting, how to set up the enrollment status page, what is Windows Hello for Business, how to deploy Windows Hello for Business, and what is the co-management, how the co-management works, how to set up the co-management workload. So let's get started with the first question. First question is, what is the autopilot? So basically no more maintenance of images and the driver is needed when we are using the autopilot. So if we talk about how earlier it was working, we were in the SSEM, and in SSEM we were maintaining our the Vim file that OS capturing image, and we were maintaining version to version, like this is for Windows 7, this is for 10, this is for 11, and inside there will be many versions, and respected to their drivers also we were managing to complete the operating system deployment. But now we are with the autopilot, so no need for all these maintenance or no need to manage all these images and the drivers. No need for IT to touch the device. So earlier the device should be with the IT to perform this operating system deployment from SSEM, but now IT should not require the device. So user can do it their own for the autopilot. Simple process and the user and the IT. So both are very simple nowadays with the autopilot. Earlier it was a bit complex with the SSEM, like capturing the image, creating that image inside that, distributing to your DP, maintaining the drivers, creating the task sequence, and there are the certain parameters we need to explain, like domain joined or not, what is the AD, which group it will go, local admin password, and the device name, and there were the many reboots also were required, if you remember, for the operating system deployment process in SSEM. But now the process is very simple. You can create a autopilot profile, add your hardware device ID, and just hit done. When the user will log in, it has to use their account, and once it log in, then autopilot profile will load with the latest operating system. Now reset the device back to the business ready state. So this is a very good feature, and it mostly used whenever a employee left the organization and that device should hand over to the another employee. So earlier in the when we were in the SSEM, we should format the device and should install the new operating system to make it ready for the business. But nowadays we have a button to do all these tasks. Just click on the reset button and your device will be ready for the business use. So now here's the autopilot flow, how the autopilot is working now. So you have the device, you can unbox it, and then transform with the minimum user interaction, like user got the device, no need for the IT help. You just on the device, you have the username and password, put the username password, follow the few steps and the interaction, and then your device will be ready. Device is ready for the productive use. So it's very easy and simple. Now, here's the flow how the autopilot works. So, device vendor, you got a device from the vendor, you fulfill and the delivered, it reach to the user and it start deploying. How it do the self-service experience. User have the username, password, and he should have the some process how he can on the device, how he can enter the username and password, and then it's ready for business use. When user is left organization or it's out of life or a device in a steady state, so in that case just check the life cycle for that device. If it is out of end of life, then it will be go out of this production. If it is not, then break fix it if there is any problem, or you can reset the device and then it will be ready for the business use, and it's taking very minimum time to perform all these actions. Now let's move it to the next question: how to create and deploy the autopilot profile. So we have two types of profile: user driven and the self driving. So in user driving, user has to do all this task like input a username and password and few of next click, and then device will be ready. But the self driving, you do not require to enter the username and password, and then everything will be done automatically with the service account. Now autopilot deployment steps, how you can deploy it. So first you need to collect the hardware device id, and then create a collection and add the hardware device id there. Then create a policy under the device and windows and click on the autopilot, then apply the policy to the group. And but make sure before that your enrollment status page should be configured. Why I write it at the last this esp page? Because it configure in a one time. Whenever you are developing your when you are designing your Intune infra, you should do this task in one time only. So every time it should not require to configure, or every time you should not require to create new enrollment status page. So it's a one time job. One time you did it, that will work lifelong. Now on the device, and once you've done it on your device and login on your device and login with the Azure AD account, and then we are good. Now here is the your autopilot profile, how it looks like. So you need to go to home, devices, windows, and then the windows autopilot deployment profile. Here you can see in it the deployment mode. If you drop down, it will be user driven and the self driven, and you can join to the Azure AD joined, and all these settings you can define it here. And if you need the more details, you can go back to my tutorial, MEM tutorial. There I explained it very briefly. So here just I am answering in short. Now how to collect the hardware key. So there will be two methods: either your device in a production or devices in you. So if your device in a production, then directly you can log in, because the username, user authentication and everything is configured on the device, so it's very easy. And if your device is totally new, then it's a little different. Now let's see, when your device is already in the production, so you can open that PowerShell, run this command, you will collect the hardware device ID, and you can create the collection based on your hardware device ID. Now, what if your device is in new and it's not configured any login? So first you on the device, shift and F10, so your command prompt will open, and then type the PowerShell will open, and then you can use this command to collect the hardware device ID. And again, if you need the more information, you can go back to my YouTube channel for this MEM tutorial. Now here is a next question is autopilot troubleshooting. So autopilot troubleshooting, we have many errors in the autopilot. So I cannot write everything here, but I write the flow how you can troubleshoot and the basic mistakes the people are doing. So autopilot machine should have the internet connection to download the autopilot profile. So this is a mandatory thing. If your autopilot is failed, just see whether you're the, so you should have the internet connection. Now next, let's see the user authentication pop-up occurred. So when you on your device, then user pop-up should be popped up, authentication pop-up. So when you are performing a user driven deployment, so user have to enter the valid username and the password. So if that is not occurred, that means is your device is not connected with the Intune, or your enrollment status page is not loaded yet on your device. Now for the user driven deployment, the device will be joined to the Azure AD using the specified username and the password. But if you are using the self deployment, then it won't be give you the username and password screen. For the setting are applied if the user status page is configured, the more setting will applied while the enrollment status page is displayed. So you should be make sure that ESP page is displayed for you. And again, for the more information, you can go for this video and you can watch this video to understand the autopilot troubleshooting. Now, next question is how to set up the enrollment status page. So it's very simple and it's a one-time job in your Intune. So again and again, no need to configure your ESP page. So what exactly ESP page will do? So the enrollment status page displayed the provisioning status of employee enrolling device and signing into the first time. So when you got a new device and you are signing a first time on your device, then you will be getting a provisioning status, what is going on your device. That is called ESP page. Or you can say you can get the autopilot status on your screen. To see that status, the ESP page will help you. So autopilot you can configure in the autopilot. You can configure the ESP page to block the device until all required policy and the applications are installed. So with the help of ESP page, you can define your policies and the applications as a condition. If the policies are not applied or if the application are not installed, then it will block the device as well. Now this is your enrollment page status looks like. So the app and the configuration profile settings, and if this autopilot is running like more than 60 minutes, so it will throw an error, so it will stop that. If you want to increase the time, you can do it. And here is the certain settings which you can follow according to your company standard. And this is the page how the devices looks like when your ESP page is loaded. So setting up your device for the work, device preparation, device setup, and the account setup. So that's how your the enrollment status pages looks like. Now let's go to the next question. What is the Windows Hello for Business? So Windows Hello is a Windows 10 biometric authentication system which allows users to sign into their device using the facial and the fingerprints and the PIN. So this is a new authentication type where you do not require to enter your username and password. So you just need your the facial recognition or the fingerprint, or you can use your the PIN. So there will be the three different methods. So whichever you like, you can set up your the authentication method. So the data for these is stored on the device. So your locally data, I mean your password, like your facial or your fingerprints or your PIN, that will stored in on your device itself, rather than transmitted to the authentication provider like the Azure AD. So your this facial and the fingerprint will not stored in the Azure Active Directory. It will store on your locally, and if it is stored locally, then it's a more secure your device. So like the attackers, uh, if they want to attack on your device, they need the device physical the device, and that is really hard to get it. Second thing, if they got the device also, suppose your device is theft somewhere or you lost your device, so they need your face, fingers, and the PIN to log in the device. So that is the good advantage for Windows Hello for Business. Now, so here is two types of authentication: facial and the facial recognition and the fingerprint recognition. Now, next question is how to deploy Windows Hello for Business. So we understand what is the Windows Hello for Business. Now let's deploy it. So this is the screen where you can see how we can configure our Windows Hello for Business profile. So you need to go to the devices. Under the devices, you have to go to the Windows, and there will be a setting. There will be option for the Windows Hello for Business, and you can define all these policies like configure the Windows Hello for Business to enable a minimum password length. You can decide it here. Maximum password length you can decide it. Lowercase letter allowed, uppercase letter allowed, special character is allowed, pin Expiration also you can set it like 2 month, 3 month, or the 6 month. User has to change their pin. Remember the pin history, so you can configure enabled, so if whenever the user is using the same pin, so that can be remembered and you cannot set the last pin. Enable the pin recovery, you can do that. If you're enabling the pin recovery, then you can able to recover the pin. And here are the certain options for the TPM, biometric authentication, and the anti-spoofing when available, certificate on-prem resources. So that's how you can configure your the Windows Hello for Business. Now, once this policy reach to the device, the user can see in this part, and he has to set up it for the face or the fingerprint. So if the user click here to set up, then he has to recognize his face or the fingerprint if user is clicked here, and then your device is ready for this Windows Hello for Business. Now, so next question is related to autopilot. The co-management. What is the co-management? So let's understand. With the co-management, we can attach our existing MECM and the SSEM infra to Intune. So, sorry, MECM, not a MECM, it's a MEM to the Intune infra. Sorry, got it. So MECM or SSEM infra to the Intune. So your Intune and the SSEM both will integrate, or you can say the SSEM will integrate to the Intune. So when we use the SSEM and Intune, so both to manage the device, then it called the co-management. When the both the applications are parallelly managing the device, or the one device is managed by the MECM or Intune. So that device is called like a co-management. So, or the another definition I can see, when your device is managing by the Intune and the SSEM, you can do the deployment from Intune, you can do the deployment from SSEM. That device is called under the co-management. Now, when we manage the device with the configuration manager and enroll into the third-party MDM services, is called coexistence. So to be make sure, co-management, if you are integrating SSEM with the Intune, so that is called a co-management. But if any other MDM services you used it with SSEM, then that is called coexistence. Now, co-management will enable on the Windows 10 and later. So if your device is having the SSEM client, then enroll to the Intune will get the benefit of both service together. Now, next question is how to manage how to co-management work. So how the co-management works actually. So this is the diagram here I created. So co-management architecture for your Intune and SSEM. So let's see. This is your Intune infra one-sided, and here is the one MDM device. It's enrolled to the Intune that is separately working dedicated to Intune. So if you are deploying any policies, patches, or applications, that will go to the devices. Now here is the infra for SSEM. So you have the configuration manager, you have the configuration manager console, and you have the policies. So this will talk later. So this device is added to the SSEM, so separately it can used. So this device is not part of this SSEM, and this device is not part of the Intune. But when we did the co-management, and inside the co-management, what we can do: resource access policies, compliance device, Windows update for the business policy, and then there is a device which is called co-managed, that can be managed by the MDM and that can be managed by the SSEM. So this device should have the internet access and the on-prem access to managed as a co-management. So I hope guys it's clear. But this device in the SSEM, it do not require the internet access. It's the on-prem access is enough. Like or if you have the only the Intune managed device or the MDM device, that you should have the internet access. Then the on-prem access is not required. But if to manage the single device with the MDM and the SSEM, then you should have the internet access and the on-prem access both. And these are the workload which will be sharing. Now, Here is some more explanation to how you can understand your co-management. So this is the configuration manager devices, Intune, and the new devices. So let's understand the star chart. So suppose you have the configuration config mgr agent like the SCCM client, and you have the active directory domain join device. So obviously if you have the SCCM client, so you will be having a active directory domain device. So what you need extra for the co-management, so you need the Azure AD joint. So config mgr agent, Azure AD joint device, and the third is a Azure AD joint, and then your device will be completely moved to the co-management. If your device is inside the Intune, like Intune MDM or workgroup or AAD joint, then you need the SCCM client to be installed on the device. Then your device will be as a co-management. And if you have the new device like the with the autopilot, you can complete your co-managed also with the autopilot. So if you have the totally new device, then device will be the Intune MDM. So device will join to the Azure AD joint, and it will join as a domain as well, and then it will install the SCCM client. Then your device will be part of the co-management. So there are the three conditions: either it's having the SCCM client, then you can enroll to the Intune. If it is a in the SCCM, then you can sorry, if it is a Intune, then install the SCCM. If it is a SCCM, then enroll to the Intune. And if it is a totally new device, so then you can use the autopilot profile to make it a co-management. Now, so here is a how to set up the co-management workload. Question number 10. This is the last question. So how to set up the co-management workload. So these are the workload which we can manage with the as in the co-management. So compliance policies we can manage as a workload, device configuration, endpoint protection, a resource access policy, client apps, Office click to the run app, and the Windows update policy. So these are the 6-7 policies, or the workload can say. These are the workload can be managed when you are under the co-managed. And here is the page. When you go to the login to the SCCM, there you can define your the workload. So if you can define like totally with the dependent on SCCM, or totally move with the Intune, or you can go with the Intune pilot. So if you set up this, then obviously you need a group to handle the device moving from SCCM to Intune, and then your workload will be setting up. So if you need the more information about this, I have the big video for explaining each and every part, complete explanation for this co-management in my YouTube channel. So guys, you can go back and watch that. So this is the short answer. And as you know, like we are if we are giving the interview, so we should not go half an hour explanation for one question. So it should be a very short way. So now thank you guys for watching this video. See you soon in my the next video, and have a good day for you. Thank you.